You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Hi there. Sam Eisenberg from N2K here, inviting you to join me for a brand new monthly segment that you can find right here in the Cyberwire Daily called Learning Layer. Cybersecurity is a constantly changing field, and you need to evolve with it. That means you'll need to acquire new skills and new knowledge. Join me as we learn how to learn in the cybersecurity space. On Learning Layer, we'll be chatting about everything from how to improve technical skills to certification exam prep to brain science. Happy learning. I'll see you in the layer.
Tired of cybersecurity mega conferences? MWise is different. With a focused agenda and targeted problem solving, MWise is where security's best go to get better. From September 18th through the 20th in Washington, D.C., you'll join a special community of security's sharpest minds, hear perspectives you might not get anywhere else, and reach a new level of mastery that'll prepare you for what's next. Register early and save at mwise.mandiant.com/conf23. That's mwise.mandiant.com/CONF23.
Hi, my name is Dina Haines, and I am an Industry Partnership Manager with National Security Agency's Cybersecurity Collaboration Center. I wanted to be lots of things when I was growing up. I wanted to be a teacher and an astronaut and a stock market trader. I really wanted to help others from a really young age. I was fascinated by technology and how to do that. I had a love of teaching. I spent some time in Florida and was fascinated by space. My dad worked in the space industry, and so the astronaut piece was really interesting to me, although I didn't have the science background to do that. And then I actually had a job as a stock market trader for a little bit. And I think I pulled them all together and became a cybersecurity professional. I remember my first intersection, which actually is a little earlier than my first computer. My dad worked in the space industry, and he took me to work one day and showed me this new technology called a telex machine, which was the precursor to the fax machine. And I remember typing a message from our East Coast office to his colleague out at Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. And instantly later, a message came back to me, and I was simply amazed. And I was all in tech from that day on, which I think I might have just dated myself with all of that because it was before I had a computer. My career progression has definitely been eclectic. I worked in the private sector for a while. I worked at a global consulting firm, a multinational entertainment company, and actually 2 tech startups. And then I worked in academia where I continued to sort of teach and write cybersecurity curriculum. And my current role at the NSA is actually my second tour in government service. Both times were with the NSA. I've worked with our foreign intel mission, and now I work on our cyber defensive mission. And I actually even took a bit of a sabbatical for a couple years and worked in motor racing. And so while that is definitely an eclectic career, no matter what job I've had, I've learned things that I use every single day. As an industry partnership manager, my job is to bring in private industry to help the NSA to vend and protect in cyberspace. And so my day is spent in pulling people together, facilitating meetings, getting private industry to come in, these public-private partnerships that you hear about. We are the ones that facilitate them and bring information together and be able to share non-public information with private industry to help all of us collectively better defend in cyber. Private industry works much faster than government. I don't think that's probably a surprise. But government has the time and typically the resources to go very deep. So if you want to learn quickly, sort of be state of the art, then sometimes private sector is better because of the way that they have to innovate quickly. But if you want to look at a problem and really have the resources to dig deep into that problem, then government is actually a great place to be there. I would consider myself a personable leader. I try to spend a lot of time listening and seeing where they're coming from, where they're at, potentially in their career, where they're at in their job that day, and then try to support them and bring them up and float the entire boat. I think over time I have learned to be very resilient. One of the things that I think is important is finding mentors and allies that can help pick you up when you hit those barriers or when you hit those bad days. And then I really am a big believer later in my career now that surrounding yourself with kind humans that make you laugh is what is needed to get through some days. I think the first thing is to be super curious, particularly if you want to work in cyber. There's always something new to learn in this field. I think it's important to have grace with yourself and watch the negative chatter that's in your head. And I would say to be open to a career journey that's not a straight path, that is a winding road with lots of side paths. I think that's a fascinating place to be. When I look back to where we were at, particularly diversity in tech in the early 90s, particularly with respect to women, and where we are today, we are undoubtedly making progress. I wanted to share a story at an early job in my career. We had about 5% women represented in the technical workforce, and during one of our all-hands meetings, one of the leaders kind of looked around and noted to all of us women in the room that we needed to keep our resumes up to date because there'd never been a woman leader at that company. And while he was in charge, there never would be one. So fast forward that to today, and I am super proud to say that NSA's Cyber Center has nearly 50% women in our technical workforce, and our chief and deputy chief are both women. Every day they empower me to do my best work, to defend against cyber threats and be the best version of myself. And so we have definitely come a long way. There's a lot of conversation about, all the barriers and all the challenges, but I do think when you look across time, we are in so much of a better place. And sometimes I don't think we focus on that. We just focus on all the, bad parts. I hope that for my two sons, that I've shown that tenacity and hard work really can bring success in a technical field, and that I'm possibly cooler than they think I am. But I hope that my legacy would be that I've made a difference in securing our nation.
Hello, dear listeners. Today I want to share and recommend a podcast that I recently became a fan of, and I think it's worth your time, and you should check it out. The show is called Compiler, and it's produced by the folks at Red Hat. The subtitle for the show is Simplifying Tech for Tomorrow's IT Leaders, and the show certainly does that, but it does a lot more. I'm getting ahead of myself. The reason Compiler has earned a regular spot on my podcast playlist is the genuine, authentic curiosity of the show's hosts, Angela Andrews and Brent Simoneau. Angela and Brent are your guides for journeys into all sorts of tech topics that are relevant to folks in cybersecurity and IT, and they do it in a way that's casual and conversational, but also smart and concise. This is a show that respects your time while feeding your curiosity. And Compiler has something for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're just getting started in your tech career or if you're a seasoned pro. I'm willing to bet that you'll find the Compiler podcast both entertaining and informative. So check it out. It's the Compiler podcast from Red Hat. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts.